strategies that we can set for ourselves that are realistic expectations to avoid burnouts, overcommitments, and all of those things that could ultimately have a burden on us.
It's so funny. It's so funny because I've got the questions that deal with self, and that's just what I love to deal with, because I often say that we can identify all the things that we can go around the room and identify all the things that's wrong with other people. But you have no power, no control over anybody. You only can change yourself. And so the first thing is self-awareness. That's just my soapbox. And my platform is self-awareness. To thine own self be true. Know yourself. I always tell people, I stay so in tune with myself so I don't have to have conversations with people trying to tell me about myself. You know, because have you ever tried to tell somebody about themselves? When you're trying to tell a person that is not aware of themselves, about themselves, it never works because they're not there yet. But when you get to the point where you're sick and tired of yourself, you know, the outcomes. I'm not talking about the conversations you have with your friends. I'm talking about the conversations you have with yourself. You know where you're supposed to be, what's not happening, what's going on. We can fake it with a bunch of people, but we can't fake it with ourselves.
That's right.
I remember getting before God and having to become totally naked before Him. And I had to come clean about who I was. I named all the negative things inside of me. Yes, God, this is true. People say it, but I'm saying it about myself. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this. And God, I don't want to be like that.
Wow.
I don't want to be that person. And so I went to God, because sometimes you can't, you may not have a person in your life that you can be that transparent with. But God gives us that space to be that transparent with Him. The Word is our mirror. You know, you look in the mirror, you look at the Word, and you can be able to see yourself and not see yourself in it. And so that's the first step, is being self-aware, understanding that what I'm good at, what I'm not, my strengths, my weaknesses, right? Social media, while it is a great place and a great platform, it also has jacked us up a little bit more, because it has presented a mirror in front of us. And a lot of times it's a false mirror. It's false. People's riches, people's personality, but you don't know what's real. So if you're using any of that to gauge where you are, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You know, it's okay to be motivated by something or someone, but I say find real life heroes. Don't allow people on the internet, because if you don't know them, you don't know what's real. You don't know if they went to the car lot and took the car on a test drive, and now they're making a video about just buying this brand new car. And so now you're depressed, you're unhappy, because wow, it seems like all of this is happening for them, and this is this, and they're showing the best parts of their life, and it's not real. It's not real.
Preach.
That's what not only we're doing it, then we can't figure out why our children are the way they are, because the adults are doing it. You know what I'm saying? Their whole lives, they're scrolling all day and basing everything that they want and don't have off of what somebody else is presenting. We have to step away from, we got to shut down the internet for a while. We have to close in, and we have to get with God so He can realign us, so we can get back to who we are and who we were created to be. Because each and every one of us, no matter shape, size, or color, we were created for something uniquely. I mean, it's something that we all feel the earth to do. And if we don't do it, it won't get accomplished. And imagine everyone being able to tap into not being able to do with V-dubs, or not being able to, you know what I'm saying? Being able to tap into what you were created for. That starts taking all the stress out. We're stressed out. We're trying to do too much because we're trying to do little. And it don't work. And it's one of the stories in the Bible I love is the story of David, right? So remember when David was going to fight Goliath, and Saul told him to put on his armor? He couldn't fight. He couldn't do it. He had to go fight the way he knew how. He had training with the lions and tigers and bears. He knew how, so he took his training to go do it. Same end result, but he did it in his own self, right? And so I can't take Pastor G's anointing and go do what called me to do. I can't put on her humor and go do it. I have to say, God, what is it about me that you called me? It has to be something great. It has to be something wonderful. I mean, because that's the God we serve, right? And so I want all people to be able to find that thing about themselves that make them great, that thing that makes you different from everybody else. And when you do that, that's half the battle, right? Because now here comes the stress to come off you, because you're only stressed out because you're trying to, we used to say back in the day, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Forget the Joneses, you know, because they stressed out. They got all the issues and the problems that you got, right? But find who you really are and be true to yourself and be honest with yourself. And let me tell you, it's a fine balance, because sometimes we become so self-absorbed and so self-focused until it has the opposite effect on us. It's finding a good balance. That's why we need therapy. That's why we need coaching. That's why, whoever said it on the last panel, I'm telling you, Dr. Mimi said it, it should be a t-shirt. You need Jesus and therapy. We cannot do this thing alone. It is a lot. Most people can't even begin to deal with who they are because they don't know who they are. You know why? Because we spend the first part of our lives trying to be who our parents said, meet their expectations. And then as women, the next phase, we're trying to be what we think a man wants us to be. And then here we come, finally we fumble up on our 40s, and it's like, oh man, I don't even know who I am. Because if you had kids in there somewhere, they're grown, and now it's you to figure out who you are, because you try to be everything to everybody. And so it's time for you to be for yourself and find out who God created you to be. And I'm telling you, it's so not stressful when you just don't care anymore. When you're not, I mean, when you're free, that's where the freedom is. It's no 12-step program.
Be free.
Be free.
Everybody say that. Be free.
Be free.